Hey everyone, it's Jeremy and Tina. We're here with Everything Energy, where we talk everything that is pertaining to energy and everything metaphysical, really,
Yeah.
right?
So
I
we're going to talk
mean,
about everything.
we're gonna talk about everything, right? Um, so how you doing, Tina? What's going on in your world?
Oh my gosh. It's a Sunday today and it's quiet in the neighborhood, right? We live
Yeah.
in Utah. It's a nice quiet day. Those of us who aren't LDS, we appreciate kind of the quietness. And I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking before coming on here, I don't know about you. Do you have like a ritual before you like join a call or do a reading? Because I start doing housework, like empty the dishwasher. Or today I felt like literally 5 minutes before I came on, I'm unpacking boxes from our move. Like I'm going to put the games in the closet and
Yeah.
I'm washing the door. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I was just in a mad dash to get everything get myself together to get on here today, but I do the same thing and I think it might be have to do with anxiety, a little bit of nerves, getting on screen and getting on camera. I don't know how anxiety works with you, but I am an anxious cleaner. If my
Mm.
husband sees the Windex in my hand, he knows to walk away. Walk away. Anything that you say or do will be used against you in a court of law. Yeah, get away. Yeah, so I do the same thing when I'm preparing for anything or like if I'm having people over, from early in the morning all through the
Mhm.
afternoon, I'm cleaning.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I guess we're preparing to have folks over, right?
I guess. I mean, yeah.
In a virtual
Or
kind of way.
possibly, but I love that we're talking about this because the topic that we're gonna be covering today is vulnerability and perfectionism. And I think that that perfectionistic kind of energy, right? It makes me fucking sweat. Like
Sweating my
we're
ass
we're
off right
talking about vulnerability, the sweat beads just start, sliding down my neck. And it's I mean, the topic like insecurity, perfectionism, vulnerability, like it's one of those things that everyone has, right? I don't know
now.
one person that doesn't
Yeah.
feel vulnerable sometimes.
And if they don't say it, they're denying it. They're
They're liars,
living. Yeah.
right? Yeah. So it's like, so covering a topic like that is extremely vulnerable for both of us because this
Mhm.
whole project for both of us is a very vulnerable, we feel like we're jumping off of a
Yeah.
cliff. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting topic today. But before we get into that, we like to start with a segment we call the Aries rant. Okay, me and Tina are both Aries. Okay.
Hmm.
And if for those of you out there that don't know shit about astrology, Aries is the first sign in the zodiac, and it's called the baby of the zodiac. And how do babies react when they don't get what they want? They get pissed, right? They start throwing a tantrum. This is true throughout our whole lives. If you have an Aries sun, moon, or rising, this is par for the course for you. Okay. This is just how it is. So, Tina, what's your Aries rant of the week?
One thing yeah, it's definitely for the week. It's been bothering me. I'm living in a new neighborhood, and for those of you who don't know, I think we moved in about a month and a half ago. We're right across the street from you. So we're like literally, we could see each other in each other's offices across the street. And so, we've been friends for a very long time, and this little street that we live on, there's only what 18 houses I think on this
Yeah.
street, and then it stops at a field. And we have neighbors that walk their dogs to the park without having their dogs on a leash, and that irks me. That
Oh,
really bothers me, and I think it's just disrespectful to let your dogs run up into people's yards. In fact, I know that dog did something to your front step.
yeah. When Tina was over, oh my God, you just hit a nerve because for those of you out there that don't know me, I am not a fan of dogs. Never have been, never will be. They terrify the shit out of me. They look like little monsters. I don't give a fuck how cute you think they are. Hate them. Tina was over one day, actually looking at the house across the street, seeing if she wanted to buy it. Whole family was here. We were standing in my living room, and right as they were about to leave, Doug, her husband, looks looks down at the porch and he goes, "Oh, someone's dog left you a little treat. Someone's dog had peed all over the porch.
Yeah.
Put your fucking dogs on a leash.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
Put
Not
your
every,
dogs on a leash.
yeah.
Nobody cares about your dog but you. Nobody.
Yeah. We
Nobody
have a,
cares."
we have a similar thing about dogs. And I think
Oh
mine
god.
personally is I love to watch dog videos. I love to watch dogs outside play. In fact, there was a dog running around and he was rolling in the field behind us. Don't know who he belonged to. Cute and everything. But not everybody likes them or wants them touching you or jumping on you or wants to
No.
pet them. And I'm one of those because I have, and maybe this is the reason why we have the dog issue because we both have dog in our charts in the
Yeah.
same place. So we
Yeah.
have this Aries connection and this dog connection. And
Uh-huh.
and I think I'm sure this is what I don't like. It's triggering something about me. But
Yeah.
dogs, aside from the anxiety that we've already talked about that we both have, dogs have a neediness. Once you
Yeah.
pet a dog, oh my gosh, they're not going to leave you alone. I can come back for more. And then the parent, the adults, the caregivers think, oh, they like my dog. So I can let my dog do whatever they want in their yard or jump up on
Yeah.
them. And it's like, that's not the case.
Yeah. Everyone, if I think my dog is adorable, everyone thinks my dog. No. Some of us view your cute little fluffy animal as a rabid beast that's about to attack.
Yeah.
Get your fucking dogs on a leash.
It's it's disrespectful. I don't want my yard damaged, with yellow
No.
spots 'cause if I don't have
Mm-mm.
a dog. So I get
No.
it, and I'm sorry, dog people. I know you're very protective of your Furbies and your fur babies and like that, but not all of us want agree. And
Mm.
we probably lost like half of the people that would even watch.
That's okay.
Let's just get rid
Tina,
of people right off the
Tina's
bat.
sorry, I'm not. Get your dogs on a leash. I don't wanna see them. I don't want them touching me. Least of all, I don't want them peeing on my leg. This is the other thing that dogs do to me.
Oh
They
no.
immediately see me, they beeline for me, and they pee on me.
We might have to
They
do some therapy.
love to pee on me. I don't know what it is. All of the people that love me and I've been in their lives for more than 20 years, a majority of them have dogs. They know I don't come over to their house because they have a dog.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it jumps right up on the couch, sits on my
Hmm.
lap, and pees
Hmm.
on me. So, mm-mm. Nope, not sorry. Sorry, not
Yeah.
sorry. Don't
Yeah.
like your dog. There's a
So
good Aries rant.
so
I love
I do have a recommendation if you do have a dog and you walk it in the neighborhood. Because we used to have dogs. We had dogs for like 12 years, two dogs. And it was literally a nightmare for us. We committed to these dogs when we got them. So we committed to the end of their lives. We didn't abandon them or let them go. But it was a lot of work. But whenever my husband would take the dogs for a walk through the neighborhood, he would let them out in our own yard to eliminate themselves, to
Mhm.
go poop, go pee, and then, okay, now let's get on a leash and go for a walk so that they're
Yep.
not dropping things and we have to carry shit around the neighborhood with us. So let it happen in your yard and then go for a fun walk.
Yeah. The other thing is, and again, after I just said, "Oh my god, I don't like dogs," I think that it's dangerous for the people who do have their dogs on a leash, because then those dogs that are not on a leash, if they
Hmm.
sense that the other dog is dangerous, they're gonna attack the dog that's on a leash and can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
it's so dangerous. I think
Yeah.
it's and I
So
just think
hopefully
it's
our
stupid.
neighbors are watching this. We'll send this to the
Hopefully.
HOA.
Put your dog on a leash. Ugh, fucking hate it. I hate it.
Okay, we got to end the rant.
Okay,
Take a
but
big
wait
deep
a minute.
breath.
I have one too.
Oh, okay. All right,
It's
I'll let you
totally
rant
different.
too.
It's
Okay,
totally different.
I want to hear it.
Okay, I'll just start with TikTok. The other day I saw this TikTok, and it's of this newlywed couple, and they are throwing a gender reveal party. Oh my god. a gender fucking reveal party. Why? Nobody okay, same thing with dogs and babies. Nobody cares what the sex of your baby is. Nobody cares. If anyone wants to know, they'll go, "Is it a boy or a girl?" I don't know about you, Tina, but when I was a kid, gender reveal was not a thing. Nobody cared.
I don't think
Everyone
anybody
just
knew
cared
until
about
it came.
they just cared if it was a healthy baby. Like,
Mm.
there was this TikTok and they were filming everyone at the party. I'm your mama and I think you're a girl. I'm your daddy and I think you're a boy. I'm your grandpappy and I think you're a girl. Like, okay, so let's fast forward this 10 years from now. You've got this 10-year-old child, it's a little girl, and they're like, look at this video about when you were in mommy's tummy. And everyone was commenting, hoping you were going to be a boy, but you're a girl.
Mhm.
That's gonna fuck a kid up, right? That's gonna
Mm.
cause so much of what we're talking about today.
Yeah.
Vulnerability, perfectionism,
Mm.
insecurity. Like, what are
True.
they gonna do? This video was of two people standing looking at the sky. I don't know if they paid the armed forces, but they had three jets expelling smoke. And it was either gonna jet off to the side if it was a boy or this side if it was a girl, expelling pink or blue smoke.
Wow.
Can you imagine how much freaking money that would cost
Yeah.
to do? Like, oh
Mhm.
my god, you're gonna give this poor kid a complex, like it was so important to
Mhm.
everyone around of your family to
Yeah.
label you
Yeah.
before you were even born.
I
Oh, it's so
agree.
dumb,
I mean, and
so
there's
dumb.
so many levels to that because the doctor could be wrong, right? The
Yeah,
ultrasound tech could be wrong in
yeah,
picking the sex, and like especially as fluid as human existence is, it's not
yes.
fair to go
No, it
ahead and
isn't fair.
just my daughter, as you know, has a baby, and they were man, she it really bothered her when she sent out in the shower invitation, don't buy clothes because I'm going gender neutral.
Yes.
Don't buy this. And then people still went and bought, oh, the fluffy dress and the cute little bonnet. And it's like, she's never going to
No,
wear it. I'm
no.
not going to dictate who this child is.
That okay, I'm sorry, but that's really good parenting. That's really good parenting. In this day and age, with gender
Yeah.
fluidity, with kids, they're so evolved now. They're
Hmm.
telling us adults, like, you know, labels don't really work for humans anymore. They
Mm-mm.
just don't.
No.
So again, what you're doing as parents doing this gender reveal thing, I know that it might be fun and cute and everything, but
Yeah.
you're creating a complex that's going to be in this kid's life for years
Hmm.
and years to come. So anyway,
Hmm.
that's my Aries rant.
I love that.
Hate gender reveal parties.
Okay. So we're over it. That we're not going to let
Over
them
it.
plug us anymore. Done.
Now let's talk about vulnerability.
Let's do it. Oh my gosh. It's I love this because we went out to lunch. Thanks again for my birthday lunch. It was so
You're
fun.
welcome. Happy
And it really
birthday.
pissed me off when we got home. I'm like, "Damn it. We didn't ask for somebody to take a photo of us because we both looked
You,
really good."
you looked good the other day. It's true.
And it was good lighting. It's like,
Yeah.
why didn't I go sit next to Jeremy on the bench and let this guy take a pic? That cute, the waiter was cute, right?
He was hot. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, he
He was
was
really
cute.
hot. Mm.
But we were like sitting there talking, and I'm like, about some nervousness about doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Really, like we've dropped some foul language. We're getting real. We're being vulnerable, and we're like really expressing ourselves here. That's what our goal is. And it's like, why not talk about it?
Yeah.
Because
I
we're not
love
the
that.
only ones.
I love that. And I mean, if we're talking about vulnerability, let's just say let's talk about vulnerability first. Brene
Hmm.
Brown is like the authority when it
Hmm.
comes to vulnerability. I forgot the book that is it Daring Greatly where she talks about
I believe so.
vulnerability.
Hmm.
That's such an interesting book because she says, and I'm going to massacre the quote, but she basically compares vulnerability to courage.
Mm.
She says vulnerability feels true, but it also feels like you're jumping off a cliff.
Wow. Yeah.
And what I tend to do, and I don't know about you, but when I do social media posts, I go into business mode and I'm like, this is this
Mhm.
about astrology and this is this. I'm not my real self. Yesterday I posted something on social media that just went crazy. And
Yeah.
it was me taking a video of my dirty, messy front porch. And it was just a feng shui tip, like
It's a
clean
great
up your
tip.
porch. And I didn't have my face. My when I'm filming myself, it kind of gives me a complex. So I just did a voiceover and I got so many responses. I got people
Mhm.
calling me on the phone, texting me, sending me emails that are like, "Oh my gosh, I want more videos like that. You were totally yourself. You were just talking like you normally do. You weren't in
Yeah.
Jeremy business astrologer mode." And I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay, well, people want to hear from me. They
Yeah.
don't want to hear from I know what I'm talking about, Jeremy."
I'm the expert. Here's your
Yeah.
tip for the day.
Listen to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was just really frank about it. I was like,
Mhm.
"If you want chi to flow into your home, clean
Mhm.
up your door. It looks like shit." Like I
Yeah.
said, I don't even remember what I said, but
Yeah. And
that's
you
how
showed
I
your own
talk.
door.
Yeah,
That's
I
being
did.
vulnerable,
It
right?
was really it was terrible. It was terrible, and my door is black, and
Mhm.
black shows every speck of dirt. So
Especially there's so much landscaping going on around here. In fact, you've inspired me just now. I think I'm going to do that because I'm going to paint my door because I can't have a black door because I'm
Ooh,
facing south. So
you are.
black in feng shui represents water energy. I can't
Yeah.
have water in the south where there is fire.
No.
So I'm going to maybe that's what I do is like I'll do a gender reveal of my front door.
Oh, dude, make a video. Let's call the armed forces to reveal the color in the smoke. Oh god. So
I'm
what
gonna go
color do
rent a
you
fog machine and let the smoke build, and then as it dissipates, you'll see the color.
there's the door. "Ah." We'll get the neighborhood together of Mormons that are like, "What the
Oh,
hell
yeah.
are they doing? What are these witches doing?" So what color do you think you're gonna do?
Well, because it's facing south and it's really hot, we're in a period 9 right now, which is fire energy. It's just really intense. And
Mhm.
so I want to calm things down a little bit. So I'm gonna go kind of to a warm yellow, not
Ooh.
bright, kind of a
Mhm.
medium tone, but kind of muted. So it's kind of earthy because the
Yeah,
earth will kind of temper that fire energy
that's such a good
around us.
idea.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah,
So
my
excited.
I face north, so
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
black black is perfect, yeah.
Plus that wavy glass that you have in there is kind of the
Yeah.
water.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, because the
It's great, but man, when it gets dirty, it doesn't look good.
no.
So, doing posts like that, I think,
Mhm,
is representing vulnerability.
mhm,
But I think the thing to understand about vulnerability is, especially in my childhood and your childhood, I'm sure, being vulnerable was not a superpower. It
no,
was not it was not something to do. Like, you
mm-mm,
know, being vulnerable requires courage. People
mhm,
kids were not taught to be courageous and to ask questions and to think
no,
outside the box. I can remember my parents like, color inside the lines, and I was like,
mm,
"Okay." And I can remember feeling pressure coloring inside the lines, right?
mhm,
And I think that when you grow up, in a society that teaches you that vulnerability is not something to be done, then when
mhm,
you become an adult, you're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that being vulnerable and being myself would be
mhm.
something that would be an extension of me that would become an authentic part of me."
Yeah. When as you're talking, God, it's just bringing up memories, right? Because like you said, a lot of it, that's where it comes from. This isn't about the blame game of our parents
Mm-mm,
and that
no.
kind of thing, but that was the generation, that was the time we lived in, and they did the best that they could. But I can remember I had left a very abusive relationship, an 18-month relationship, and I left with the clothes on my back. Somebody flew me out of town across the United States, and I landed with in my dad's house. I hadn't
Mm,
lived with my dad since I was 5, and here I was
mm,
20 years old. And I can remember feeling very vulnerable. He didn't know me. He didn't know what I was going through before I left. And I remember
Mm.
sitting at the table and he was saying something, and I said, "Let me tell you what my past year and a half has been like." "Oh, no, I don't want to hear it." And he just dismissed, my attempt to connect with him, to share with him, to say, I made some mistakes. I put myself
Yeah.
in very precarious situations. But he just shut it down. And it's like, okay, then I guess that part of me, I shouldn't have expected any different, because that's the way it was when you're raised by a narcissistic personality disorder parent, right? It's all
Yeah.
about their image, their
Yeah.
fragile identity. And if, oh no, I don't have a daughter that went through that, I'm going to be in denial because I can't know that, because that will change the way the world sees me.
Yeah.
So that plays into not only me not feeling safe to be vulnerable, but that perfectionism that we're going to talk about. That
Yeah.
everything's
And I
got to be a
mean,
certain way.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that happened to you when you were 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
And still, years later, when we think about it, it we can feel it in our body, right? We can
Oh yeah.
feel how that how I don't know how it is for you, but I'm right back there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I go
Mm-hmm.
right back in time to that moment where I was feeling that emotion.
Exactly. Yeah, my heart's just thumping right now, way
As you're
heavy.
telling the story, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No
Mm-hmm.
wonder why you clean.
Right. I
That's what
do.
I do. When I start having memories of my childhood or weird things that happened in my past, that's when the Windex comes out.
Mm.
And I think that that kind of parlays into perfectionism, right?
Oh
When
yeah.
we're having a moment of vulnerability where we were taught it's not safe to be vulnerable. It's not safe. I mean, I was a little gay boy growing up in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah. Wow.
And I
Jeez.
cried about everything, and I was told it's not a good idea to cry. It's not a
Mm-hmm.
good idea to be yourself. Yeah, you're into art and you're into Olivia Newton-John, but you should be into basketball and sports, and people need to respect you. And I'm thinking to
Mm-hmm.
myself, I don't give a crap if people respect me. But since that's what the religion and, my parents
Mm-hmm.
and society was teaching them that I needed to be,
Mm-hmm.
that was a reflection on them,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah, I think that's why the perfectionistic parts of us come out
Mm-hmm.
because that's almost like a defense mechanism or a coping strategy
Mm-hmm.
to kind of deal with those emotions and to deal with, you know, trying to make yourself feel safe during a vulnerable moment during
Yeah.
the day.
I wonder though if there's room to reframe whether it's the housekeeping, or you have to go, you know, fix your hair, or you have to go get some fresh, like whatever that is, thing that might be connected to that, you know, anxiety or vulnerability or perfectionism, if we can reframe it. Because I have with me, because I see like the house cleaning as, okay,
Mhm.
I'm moving the energy. So whether
Yeah,
it's
ooh,
I'm
good.
moving my energy by
Mhm.
wiping down these counters, or by bringing the broom through, or emptying I'm moving things. So I'm moving my energy too as I'm doing these, because energy's energy.
Yeah.
And I think that, because I wonder if that's like why people choose to do that stuff, is because it is moving things for them.
Well, and especially for people that have an Aries sun, moon, or rising,
Hmm.
Aries is the sign of action.
Okay.
So we need to get up and move our bodies. Also, for
Hmm.
anyone that has a dog in your Chinese four pillar chart, same thing.
Yeah.
A stagnant dog is not a happy dog.
Mm-mm.
Dogs like to
That's
go out and play, they like to run around,
hmm.
they like to, they
Pee
want
on
to play.
people's porches.
Yeah, they want to pee on your porch because their owners are idiots. Like, They they wanna they wanna play.
Yeah.
S
Yeah.
Aries energy is very similar. It needs to have action. It needs to move the energy, and
Hmm.
I love that. That's such a good reframe too because, if we look at the perfectionism as a point of shame,
Mhm.
"Uh-oh, I'm cleaning again. I must be feeling anxious,"
Mhm.
then that's just gonna create a deeper shame spiral. But if
Right.
we look
Mhm.
at it as, "I've got the Windex out, and I'm gonna get active, and I'm gonna clean something, and I'm gonna be productive, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
move the energy so that I'm raising my vibration," that is a really good reframe. I love that.
And I I don't think that you have to have an Aries or a dog in your chart to take
No.
advantage of that moving energy. Maybe you don't have those and you need um, to move more, or so see it as that. Like even taking out the garbage for me, it's like I am taking the garbage out, right? I'm
Yeah.
dumping things that no longer serve a purpose. And
Yeah.
with me, any other energy, whether it fits in the bag or I'm just dragging it along with me outside, I'm dumping and I'm
Mhm.
getting rid of. Sorry, I
Yeah.
need some chapstick. I'm trying to
I
find
love
some.
I love that because it's like it then becomes a ritual, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I don't know about you, but I love rituals. I love rituals because they somehow they ground me. They have me doing something active that is
Mm-hmm.
moving the energy. But there's a step-by-step process to it too, right? You go
Yeah.
through the whole house, you empty all of the garbages into a bigger bag, then you take it out to the garbage can, you roll the garbage can out, you
Mm-hmm.
watch the truck take all of that negative energy away,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gone from your life. You never see it again.
Yeah.
And we get to do that every day. We get to do that every week. So
Mm-hmm.
if we reframe just humdrum,
Yeah.
around the house things
Mm-hmm.
into
Yeah. Even if
something
it's just putting
higher.
gas in your car or,
Yeah.
emptying the garbage in your car, that kind of stuff. We really
Mhm.
can see it as ceremonial. In fact, a, a wonderful friend slash whatever. She's just mentor. I did some Brene training through her. And she said she lights a candle when she sits down to pay the bills.
Oh,
Make it a sacred experience. Make it important that I get to have this money and pay these workers who keep my electrical going or
mhm.
who, support me in this way. And it's just part of that give and take of existence. So I
Yeah.
love this idea of ceremony.
Yeah. I love that. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, wow, that's a big reframe for me. I know that I've told you this in the past, but doing the bills and taxes and things like that is a huge trigger for me. It just sends me right to the moon and not in a good way,
Yeah.
right? So
Well, that's
lighting
the
a
other thing we
candle
have in common is that
Yeah,
because we have really low metal in our charts, which
yeah,
is that ability to do work math problems or balance your checkbook or
yeah,
follow the steps
mhm,
linear. We
yeah.
both struggle in that field too. And yeah, money is a trigger for me. Holy crap. I just get anxious just looking at my bank app.
I know, I know, and then just going through everything, I'm just like, oh. But if I don't know, I think I'm gonna try that this month.
Mhm,
I'm gonna light a candle and see if that helps to shift the energy or to
mhm.
even reframe it, because I know that reframing that would be a culmination of release of years and years and
Yeah.
years, right?
Mhm.
Like, that would be that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a
And
great
so maybe
idea.
we can get really good at that here. We talked a little bit ago about, you know, oftentimes we don't realize what we're saying. We'll say
Yeah,
stuff like, oh, I hate taxes,
yeah,
or I hate dogs. It's like,
yeah,
can we reframe that? Can I call you out on that and say,
yeah.
cancel that thought? Because
Cancel that thought.
that's
Yeah,
just perpetuating that,
yeah,
and have you replace that thought or that comment with something more positive. It doesn't even have to
yeah,
be related, but if it has a higher frequency to it, then it's going
yeah.
to override that.
Because if I'm saying I hate dogs and I have a dog in my chart, what am I hating within
Mm,
myself? So,
yeah,
if we
yeah,
cancel those things out and reframe it, then
hmm,
we're coming from a different space, and
yeah,
then maybe dogs won't bug the hell out of me so much.
exactly. Yeah.
Maybe I bug the hell out of myself.
Oh,
But that's a different podcast,
hmm,
right?
yeah. And before we go any further, we'll talk about charts more
Yeah, we
in
will.
other podcasts. We might even pull a guest in here and do a chart reading for somebody, or we might do the presidential candidates, or we might.
Yeah,
So we love looking at charts and talking about all of that and feng shui. So we're definitely going to bring some more
we will.
conversation around that for
We
sure.
will.
Do you want to get into perfectionism a little bit more?
Yes, but before we move on to perfectionism, I
Mm-hmm.
just want to encourage people, pop in the comments, what are some of the things that you do as a ritual? What are some of
Mm,
the things that you do, just as going around the house as rituals, routines? How can we turn those into ceremonies? Just feel free to share what you like to
mm-hmm.
do, that might not be anything that we've talked about
Yeah, it's
today.
like taking something that seems super mundane and super
Mhm.
practical. How can we make it special? How can we
Yeah,
make have it give more a deeper, greater, expansive meaning to it?
yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed,
Yes,
subscribe. That way
please.
you get a notification that, another video's posted.
Yeah.
We love subscribers.
Yes, please.
Because we'll probably pick, if we do chart readings, we'll pick from subscribers,
Yeah, we
who
will.
we do. All right. So, perfectionism.
Perfectionism.
For me, it's definitely my
Mhm.
father. Everything. He had an image to upkeep. He
Mhm.
was, a note keeper. He was a tracker. I can remember as a little girl, he would get irritated. Can you just cut that little piece of hair that's sticking out right there in the back of his head? Like that kind of stuff. It was just
Yeah.
nitpicky. And then, the different changes and things that I would go through life. I went from having long, straight hair with bangs to a
Mhm.
Dorothy Hamill haircut. And he immediately, you look like a boy. So I had tarnished his reputation, his image immediately. And he really distanced himself from me for quite a while. And talk about
Until your
crying.
hair grew out?
Hmm. I cried
That's
every day
crazy.
after school. And so I know, not to blame, but I know that because of his wounds when he was a child
Mhm.
and really wanting to protect his self, he, you know, he used other people for that. And
Mhm.
so I took on a lot of that, I
Yeah.
think. Um,
Yeah.
Image, it's got to look right. And I was thinking about this morning. I think it's not so much for me about having it be perfect, but what gets in my head is that I've got to do it the way everybody's doing it. I've got to do it that way because
Mhm.
somebody said, if you want to do this, you got to do this first and then this. Or I want to paint my door, but everybody else's door in the neighborhood is black. Is it
Yeah.
okay that, I don't know if I feel good with that. I always check in with everybody else first
Mhm.
before I can make up my own mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's some perfectionism in there, but I think
Mhm.
it's not about that it has to be perfect
Yeah.
or I have to be perfect, but it has to be accepted. Oh,
Right.
that's it. I have to be accepted.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Whoa, that's a big one.
Yeah, that's a huge aha just there for me.
Yeah.
That that's what that's about is acceptance,
Yeah.
which didn't happen with him.
Well, and that's what we all want, especially
Hmm.
from our parents. We wanna be accepted. We want them to think we're cool, right? We want
Hmm.
them to love us.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
How about
huge.
you? How about you? How's it manifest or how did it begin?
Oh my gosh. Well, I grew up in the LDS church, and I grew up learning that anyone who was homosexual was going to the same in the LDS church, they have this what's called the plan of salvation, and they have levels of heaven. And the lowest heaven you can go to is outer darkness. It's basically hell. And
Wow.
it's this place where there's no light and gnashing of teeth and just burning in hellfire for all eternity. And I was taught that homosexuals were going to go to the same place, this outer darkness place. And so from a very young child, I thought, okay, if nobody can tell that I'm gay, or nobody can tell that I'm this horrible, evil thing, if I can pull the wool over everyone's face, at least no one will know that I'm going to hell.
Mm,
And I don't know
mm,
if you've seen it. I've seen it, like little boys that are pretending not to be gay because they can
mm-hmm.
tell that their parents are not gonna like that, or
Yeah.
their church. It just makes it 10 times worse, right? Because
Mm,
then you're a little child trying to hide from who you are. But what I did as a result of that is I tried to be perfect at every single thing I did. And so I went to such extremes to be the most perfect Mormon that I could possibly be.
mm.
And for anyone that knew me as a child and you're watching right now, you can attest to this, okay? I was the most obnoxious, righteous, perfect kid that anyone had ever met, and I was, as a result of that, extremely judgmental of anything that was not
Mm,
LDS, and
mm.
that went clear into my junior high and high school days. In fact, I had a girlfriend that she smoked, and I would leave bags of carrots on her locker with scriptures saying, Jesus doesn't like you to smoke those cancer sticks. Put one of these in your mouth every time that you're going to smoke. Like, I
No
was
kidding.
to the extreme. They called me Bible boy in high school.
Really?
Yeah, but the people that knew me called me Tinkerbell. So I mean, there. You can see,
Yeah.
the interesting push and pull that I was dealing with,
Yeah.
right? So yeah, it's one of those things where and years later, when I left the church and I was in hair school, that same girl was in my hair school, and she saw me and she bolted out the back door and she's like, "I'm quitting school today. I can't deal with you." And I was like,
Mm.
"It's okay. I came out of the closet. I'm no longer Mormon." She's like, "Oh, thank God." Because she was still smoking and I was so judgmental of people that smoked back then, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I think
Oh,
that
wow.
perfectionism can come through our parents, through our families, but through religion and society. And I was just trying, I was really striving to not only prove to people that I was okay just being the way that I was, but
Mm-hmm.
there was also this part of my brain that was trying to get to heaven. I
Mm.
thought, if I can prove to God that I'm living all of the principles of this gospel, then maybe he won't send me to that outer darkness place.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he might love me. But then I went on a mission and I learned that no matter what the hell I tried to do, nothing was going to work.
Mm.
Nothing was going to work. So yeah, perfectionism, I struggle with it. Perfectionism, I was looking up the definitions of vulnerability and perfectionism, and a lot of those, traits come from mental illness, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
anxiety, a lot of OCD. I think
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
majority of people that know me know that I have a I don't even know, it's not a disease, but it's a disorder called trichotillomania, where you pull your hair out. And
Mm-hmm.
I started doing that as a child. I've done it
Mm-hmm.
my whole life, and I pull
Mm-hmm.
out my eyebrows. So, yeah, perfectionism is a big thing. It's
Yeah.
can really mess you up.
It certainly can because I mean, your story is really interesting because you were doing the perfectionist work,
Mhm.
trying to fit a model. It's not like they
Yeah.
were, I don't know how to say it. It just feels really dynamic, your personal experience.
Mhm.
That even through that intense perfectionism or trying to fit in and not stand out and to say, no, yes, this is who, I'm one of you. Even in your own mind, there's this contrast, there's this opposition, the Tinkerbell that's
Mhm.
saying, girl, no, you're not.
Girl, no. Put on that pink feather boa and dance around to Xanadu, bitch. Let's do this, which
Yeah,
is what I did behind closed doors, right?
yeah.
That's what I wanted. I desperately wanted to be who I was, but I knew I lived in a world where I was not allowed to be, nor was it safe to be.
Hmm. Yeah. So when you got back from your mission, what happened?
I wanted to kill myself, and I had an attempt, and it was not. successful, thank goodness. But yeah, I had a nervous breakdown and I came out of the closet and I told my parents, hey, this isn't for me. I'm not going to be
Mhm.
a member of the church anymore. And I don't even know if I want to be here anymore.
Mhm.
So it was a really dark period of time. It was really, really traumatic. But through that, I was able to kind of find some solace in knowing that I wouldn't have to jump through those hoops anymore. But
Yeah.
even 25 years later, I find myself going back in time to those times, and that's when the Windex comes out. You
Mhm.
know, when I start remembering that little boy that hid for so long and wanted to be perfect and was trying to prove to God that I was worthy of love. Same thing with you. You just wanted to be accepted. But I
Mhm.
was taught that I wasn't accepted by God, nor would I ever be.
Yeah.
So
But
that's what it
God
comes
didn't say
down
that
to.
to you.
No,
Those
no,
people.
not at all. Not
Mhm.
at all. So it's kind of interesting when you look back on those things. It all comes back to acceptance. Something that you said earlier. Brene Brown says that the opposite of fitting in is acceptance
Mm.
and belonging.
Yeah.
When you're trying to fit in, you have to be perfect. You have to be a version of yourself that isn't really who you
Mhm.
are. But when you belong, people go, bring your good, bad, and ugly. You're
Mhm.
part of the tribe. We accept you no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's what we want. We want to belong. We don't,
Mhm.
trying to fit in doesn't work.
No. Because then when you're trying to fit in, you know that you're separate, right? You
Yeah.
feel it.
Yeah.
Even if you don't mind me saying, part of us doing this podcast, even like there was those insecurities because you were like, okay, what if my parents see this?
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. What if my mother, who I have a relationship, what if I say something that might paint her in an
Yeah.
unfriendly light, or
Mhm.
reveal my truth that
Yeah.
she's never heard before. It You were having some same tell. I would love to hear or love for you to share, because I can't talk right now. I don't know how to mute my
You're
mic.
joking.
I'm, I'm gonna
she,
do
as,
I'm gonna sneak
as
out
she
and go
melts
talk.
into the floor.
I would love for you to share like that conversation your dad had with you not
Okay,
too long
so
ago.
for years, I've been really worried about how my family was going to perceive me if I did something like this, and started talking about my past, which a lot my family doesn't really know about because A, they didn't want to know, and B, there would have been nothing that they could have done about it. They couldn't have, I mean, history is what it is. It was what it was. The situation was what it was. And I don't tell these stories to paint my parents in a negative light, but my parents and I don't see eye to eye on, I would say, 99% of life. And as a result of that, mm, our experiences of the same our situations that happened are completely opposite and completely different. And I went over to my parents' house a couple months ago and I was talking to them, and my parents are both dealing with really serious health issues right now. And my dad was talking about a podcast that he watches, and he's like, "Why don't you do a podcast?" And I was like, "Because I'm afraid of what Christian people are going to say, what Mormon people are going to say, what you guys are going to say." And he goes, "Well, then the people that don't want to listen to what you have to say won't watch." And something flipped in my mind because he was saying, "I don't give a crap what people think about me. Why do you?"
Mm,
And I thought, "Oh my God, he doesn't really care what I say. Why should I care about what he
mhm.
says?
Yeah.
Why am I holding myself back because I don't want to offend my family, or I don't want to offend Mormons, or I don't want to offend dog people?" Like,
Hmm.
if I'm holding myself back, then I spend my whole life holding myself back when maybe if I would have expressed myself, it could have helped someone.
Yeah.
Maybe if I told my story, it could have given someone the courage to tell their story.
Mhm.
So it's not about us getting on here and being like, "Our parents are fucked up." Well, in some ways, yeah, they really
Mhm.
are fucked up, but
Mhm.
we're not doing this to just play the blame game, you know? Our parents did the very best they could with the cards they were dealt,
Yeah.
and with the generational, I mean, if we think our parents are fucked up, look at their parents. I mean,
Mhm.
talk about a
Can you
generation,
imagine?
right?
Yeah.
So, they were just dealing with the cards that they were dealt.
Mhm.
There was no handbook on being a parent, but
They didn't have Oprah back then.
no,
We
they
had
didn't.
Oprah kinda
We
open the world up.
right? Telling us what to do, right? So, it's one of those things where, yeah, I think that it's a very vulnerable practice for us to be doing this because we're not doing it to be malicious or anything, but we are doing it to tell our stories and to hopefully reach out to people out there that have gone through something similar so that we can tell people that it's safe to be here. It's safe to tell your story. It's
Mhm.
safe to be yourself.
Yeah, and we'll love you and,
Yeah.
stand by you, support you, and I think it's very ironic that my throat chakra starts shutting down
Yeah. Yeah.
during this conversation and not being able to speak clearly, because both of us being low in metal energy, which shows up in your Chinese astrology chart,
Mhm.
metal governs the throat chakra.
Yeah.
And so growing up in an, with baby boomer parents where, children are to be seen, not heard, you don't have
Mhm.
a voice, you don't have a say. And
Mhm.
here we're talking about parents and expressing ourselves in a way and speaking our truth
Yeah.
and sharing with you. Pay attention to that kind of stuff, when it comes up in your body. Um, I love the conversation. Maybe that'll be a fun talk someday. We could add that to our list of topics, is talking about subtle anatomy and how to
Yeah.
know like what side of your body, if it's in pain or you got injured, what it
Mhm.
means, how it's the message that it's trying to tell you. But
Yes.
thank you for sharing that. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, and I think it's hilarious that your parents. I think your dad has watched some of our videos from our
Yeah,
energy
I
update.
think so. I think so. I don't know if he really gets any of it, but I
Yeah,
think that that's cool that they've seen some of the things that we've done together, which is cool. And I
my
hope that they
mom.
get something from it too.
I do too. I know my mom, watches our energy updates once in a while, and I think you and I've talked about this before, where it's not so much whether they get it or not, but they're trying
Mhm.
to. They're trying to support us. They think by
Yeah.
watching our videos it supports us.
Yes.
They want to get to know us because they don't
Mhm.
really know us because we
No,
didn't have
I
sit
don't.
down and have those talks. And maybe
No.
it's sometimes it feels like it's too late for those conversations.
Yeah.
So I think it's their way of showing up for us, and I'm really
100.
appreciative of that. I'm really
Me
grateful that my
me too.
mom does her best. She will put her red envelope above the door.
You will. Yeah, and I love that. I love that about your mom.
I do too. I'm still having issues with this.
I mean, yeah, that's okay though. So, let's talk about what we've got coming up.
Mm,
You're currently in the middle of a training right now, is that correct?
I am. I've got 6 students from all over. I've got a gal in Denmark, Canada. Um, I've got a couple people out in Maryland, a local gal in Utah, and somebody in, I can't remember where she lives, like Delaware or something. Yeah, so I'm in the middle of a feng shui training. So I'm certifying some feng shui practitioners. They just started yesterday their certification part. So
Wow.
we've got about 4 months left where we're going to do some deep dives. They're going to learn Chinese astrology and flying stars and classical feng shui and landform, just like you did. What year was
It was
that?
so fun. It was so fun. Oh god.
Let's
We
say
met
2000.
in we met in 2013, I think. 2013 or 2014, and then I did my certification in 2016, I think it was,
Okay. And
but
that
I'm
was
not
in
sure.
person.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
one of
that
my,
was one of the last classes in person,
yeah.
so,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. I was
Yeah, so
one of
I'm
the lucky.
excited. Yeah. It's so fun in person because
It
you can
is.
really go off on some tangents. But yeah, it's a great group. I'm really excited. You know how excited I get when I get to teach, and
Mhm.
you're feeling that excitement about
I am.
the
So
teaching is so fun.
I'm launching a mentorship that begins in June, and the
Oh
doors
my
are gonna
gosh,
be
that's
opening.
quick.
Yeah, the doors are gonna be opening, to purchase the class in, May, towards the end of May. If you're wanting more information on that, please, we've got the links to our websites there.
Hmm.
Sign up for our monthly newsletters. My monthly newsletter will keep you abreast on everything that's coming soon. My upcoming course and mentorship. Um,
What does that
I
mean? What is
also
that mentorship? What is that going to be about?
So if you have learned astrology or don't know astrology, I'm going to be setting up. It's going to be a 3 or 4 month program where each class you learn another implement to understand your specific natal chart. People are going to be able to, by the end of the class, be able to read their astrology chart, understand their astrology chart, and all of the ins and outs of that, what all of that entails.
How often do you meet?
It's either going to be every week or every other week. I haven't
Hmm.
figured out all of the details yet, but
Hmm.
like I said, there's more details coming.
Yeah.
Especially in May, you're going to get all of the information then. But it's going to be, uh, I believe it'll be a 3 or 4 month program where we get a couple of classes and then also a Q&A session at the end of
Mm.
every month.
Hmm.
So that if you have extra questions during a class session, there's going to be a whole session to get all of those questions answered.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh. I'm looking
that's
forward to
going to be
that.
starting. And then I also do a monthly astrology class. You can also sign up for this via my website. And it's on every second Tuesday of each month. This
Mm.
year, we're focusing on the Eastern zodiac animals, the Chinese astrology zodiac animals each month. So come and
Mm.
join me. It'll be
Yes.
fun.
Please join you. I love
Yes.
that. I know I was thinking, do I want to do another training this year? I don't think I'm going to do a full training this year.
Okay.
Another one. So some changes are coming. I'll announce that as it's happening. Um, just because life is changing here at the house.
Yeah. I
And
mean, you've moving in, renovations. I think
yeah,
you're good.
bringing the family
You've got
together.
plenty. You've got plenty of stuff going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If they would just pay me, if I could just get paid for all that stuff, I wouldn't have to
Pay to
work.
renovate your house. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't it? I think that's
Yeah.
a great
Yeah.
trade-off. Yeah, I didn't get paid to put the shed together, you know. We got to change this up a little bit.
I mean, for everything that we do, right? I need to renovate my house. I wonder how much I'll get paid.
Ooh.
That, I
Yeah.
mean, it might be a delusional reframe, but a
Hmm.
reframe nonetheless.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you look at what do I get because now I have a shed. Oh, I have an open garage I can pull my car into. I got paid,
Yeah.
right? This is great. I just can't keep my voice.
That's okay. Because guess what? Time's up.
I hope I'm muting my mic when I'm coughing. Am I?
Yeah. I can't
Okay.
hear you.
Okay, good. Because I thought I was muting, and then you stop and look at me like, are you waiting for me to be quiet?
You okay?
Kind of disruptive, Tina.
Gosh, Tina, how dare you cough and be a human?
I just want to be accepted,
You need to be perfect and not cough.
right? Well, this is awesome. Wow, look at us. We're like on the mark, kind
All
of
right.
an hour. Do you have any other things you want to say or end with?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hmm.
If you
Yes.
want to, we have a monthly monthly energy update for more on Tina's courses, for more on my courses, or if you just want a reading, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
Also, what we would love to ask you to do is comment below what you would like us to talk about. What are
Mhm.
some of the things that you wanna know about astrology or
Yeah.
about energy or vulnerability? If this is something you'd like us to talk about again, please
Mhm.
comment.
Absolutely. We are open. We love ideas. We love connecting
Yes.
because I mean, we have tons of shit to talk about, but we
Yeah,
want to talk about what you want to hear about. And
exactly.
maybe you need to come in on the conversation because guess
Yeah,
what? I got really handy with this image stuff on the screen that you see. I've
yeah,
got one that brings in a guest speaker. So let me
exactly.
show you. And I'm going to say, look, you could be the guest right
That's
there.
right, that's right. So, if you'd like to be a guest, please comment.
Yeah, please. Thank you, everyone. Get
Thank
out
you.
there, reframe the way you're seeing the mundane, create rituals, put that in the comments below. We love to
Mhm.
learn from one another.
Yeah,
I love you, my
please.
friend, and all of
Love
you.
you. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.